Hello students, today I am going to take the class 10th SST subject Civics chapter 2 Federalism. Students, to understand federalism, it's very simple. First we should know how our government works. Government works at the center as well as at the state level. So in that, power is shared among center and state. When we read about the power sharing in the previous chapter, we read about horizontal and vertical form of government. In horizontal, the power is shared between legislature, executive and judiciary, whereas in vertical, the power is divided between center, state and local government. Power in federalism, it is a system. Now, if we see federalism, it is a system of government in which power is divided between center, state and local government. And this is how government works in federalism. So, federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between central government and other levels of government. Now, India is the best example of such type of power sharing. Now, some of the countries of the world have unitary system of government, which is contrast to federal form of government. And there is only one form of government in unitary system, and Sri Lanka is an example of unitary system. And in Sri Lanka there is central government and other levels are subordinate to the central government, whereas India is the best example of federal system in which center and state government has power of its own. Now we come to the key features of federalism. If we see the federalism, wherever in the world a country, if it has two or more level of government, we will call it federal form of government. And each tier, we call it tier 3. For example, India, center, state and local government. These are 3 tiers, 1, 2 and 3. Each has separate jurisdiction. It is very clearly mentioned in the constitution. There is a list of subjects in the constitution, what comes under central government, what comes under state government and which power local government has. Now, when this is clear, each tier has its own jurisdiction. Now, when it comes to any dispute, naturally when these 3 work together in a country, there is possibility of disputes. So in that case, Supreme Court act as an umpire. In case if any dispute arises between central government and state government, or central government and more than one state, or sometimes it is between states. When it is between states, then also Supreme Court act as an umpire, and Supreme Court's decision is final. For example, I will give you one example here, that there is always a long time since after independence there is dispute over Kaveri river water, because Kaveri river passes through these 3 states, and the distribution of water, there are a number of times there conflict has arisen between Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. In that case, where will this government go? State government. They cannot go to their own high courts. So in that case, Supreme Court act as an umpire. Then each level has financial autonomy. Center has its own revenue system. State government has its own revenue. They earn revenue, and sometimes center share their revenue with state government. Wherever state government needs some revenue, they depend on. So, but it is very clearly mentioned in the Constitution that each level has its financial autonomy. Now, the thing is that these key features are very important. There is a country like India where there is so much of social division, so much of diversity. In that case, it is very important that powers should be clearly mentioned and they should work on according to their powers. Now, if we see federation, federal system is followed in many countries, but the system of federation is of two types. One is coming together and second is holding together. Here I have written USA example of coming together, and holding together is India. Now, coming together, in coming together type of federation, states come together to form a bigger unit. They are independent, they have equal power as the central government. They have their own constitution, they work independently, but there are few, like defense of the country. They work together. For example, 50 states of America, they have their own constitution, their own system, but when it comes to the defense of the country, they are together. So that is known as coming together federation. Whereas in holding together, because power is shared among various social groups. India is known for diversity. There are so many social groups are there, and on one hand to give them power, on other hand to bring unity, to bring them together, there is holding together system. And in holding together system, central government is more powerful than the state government. Now, this system of holding together, it makes India a quasi-federal state. India, though we say India is a federal state, and I told you that powers are divided between center and other levels of the government. But in India, central government is more powerful than the state government, and this is the reason that many times it is called quasi-federal state. Students, I hope you must have understood the introduction of the chapter what is federalism. Thank you.